Hello, today's session is just simply stretching. You're going to need a band for it, and of course just make sure that you are relatively warm before you begin, because we're going to go straight into those stretches. So I want you to come over onto your back. I want you to first of all just draw those knees in towards your chest, hug them in as far as is comfortable, and just give yourself a little rock side to side. So we're just warming up around that lumbar spine, giving it a little bit of a stretch there, just to start the session. We're then going to take both hands onto one of the knees, bring the other foot down to the floor, and just slide that away and just open right out through the front of your hip. And the more you can press away through that underneath leg, the better. So almost pushing right out through from the hip. And of course, the more you can then pull in with that top knee, the better. If you start getting any kind of strain or stress around the front of your hip, however, make sure you keep that quite open. And you're just going to hold it there as you breathe. Remember, as you breathe, just feel your whole spine melting down into the floor, so you're keeping the rest of your body as relaxed as possible. And I want you to then take the top knee a little bit further out to the side. So I'm just going to draw it out. Doesn't have to keep high, you can take it a little lower and just open. So we're now getting that sense of opening from the top of the knee right down through the front of your hip towards the top of the opposite hip. Again, the more you then can press away through that underneath leg, the more you're going to feel that stretch around the front of your hip flexors. Just holding it there and breathing. That's good. And then just gently bring that knee back into the center. Draw the lengthened leg back in so we can swap it over to the other side. So again, lengthen the underneath leg. Draw the top leg in as far as is comfortable. Press right out through that underneath heel. So we're pushing and opening up through the front of the hip. And again, as you're holding it there, if you can just drop that top knee out to the side a little bit, stretching then right the way across the front of the hip. Again, pushing out a little bit further from that underneath leg to really open up through the front of the hip. Breathing in, breathing out. Let's draw that leg back through again to the center. Bring the other knee in. And this time, once you've brought it in, your back should be nice and flat into the floor as we open those knees wide. You're going to reach to the middle of the thighs and just add a little bit of resistance there to stretch around those inner thighs. Just pushing lightly into those legs, opening up around the groin, around the inner thigh. Remembering all these stretches should feel comfortable. That's nice. Then we take the arms on the outside of the knees and just draw the knees back together into the center, but place one hand on the top of each knee. So we can now draw those knees a little closer in. If it's comfortable, you can also lift your tailbone slightly and then take those knees away from each other, and we just stir them all the way around and back to your starting position. So we bring the knees in, take them wide, and just bring them all the way around and back to the center. Let's do that one more time in that direction. Drawing it in, taking it wide, and rolling it all the way back to the middle. Let's go back in the other direction. Then taking the knees wide first, and bring them in and together before again you release them back and wide. So we're drawing them in and together, and again releasing it back and wide one more time, drawing it in and together. This time hold them there in the middle, and again just rock gently side to side. Lovely. Before we bring those feet down one after the other, back onto the mat, we're going to then take hold of our band. And we're going to be placing that band underneath one of your feet. And I want you to lengthen that leg up and away towards the ceiling. And remember, we are trying to remain in neutral pelvis if possible. It's fine to keep that underneath leg bent, but if you can lengthen that leg away from you. Only if it's comfortable for your spine. If it isn't, obviously you keep it bent. Holding it there, we're drawing down right on the bottom of the foot to try and sink that hip firmly down into the floor. And I want you to keep the thigh bone nice and still, but as you breathe in, we're just going to start to bend the knee and drop that heel down and in towards the back of your thigh. And as you exhale, flex the foot and press your heel all the way back up again to the ceiling. And let's repeat that again. Dropping the heel down and pressing it up and away again as you exhale. Let's do that one more time, dropping it down. And again, pressing it all the way up to the ceiling. And then as you inhale, if you release the band slightly, you can lengthen the toes towards the ceiling. And then we can draw those toes down and push the heel away. So again, we're going to lengthen the toes to the ceiling. And we're going to draw them back down. We're going to do that one more time. Lengthening through the front of the foot, the ankle, the shin. And draw it back down and push that heel up, up, up. And just hold it there again as you breathe. Sinking the whole spine into the floor. That's good. Let's swap it over onto the other foot. So again, nice flat band underneath the foot. And then we can lengthen the leg up and away. If you prefer to keep your knee bent, if that's more comfortable, do so. Otherwise, you lengthen it away from you. Either way, we are trying to remain in neutral pelvis if possible. As long as you can feel though that stretch in your hamstrings, all is good. Okay, so again, we're going to keep the thigh bone nice and still. But as you inhale, we start to bend the knee and just drop that heel in towards the back of your thigh. And then you're going to press all the way back up again towards the ceiling. So we're breathing in, dropping the foot. Breathing out to press it back up. Let's do it again, dropping it down. And pressing it up there and holding it there. And as you inhale, lengthening through the front of the ankle, the shin, the foot itself, and again, drawing those toes down on the exhalation. So we're breathing in, lengthening it through. Breathing out to draw it back down. One more time. Breathing in. And breathing out, draw those toes down. Press that heel a little bit further up and away towards the ceiling. Just holding it there as you breathe. Try not to lock out that top knee. Lovely. And then we're just going to release it all the way down. And you can pop your band to the side. I want you then to roll yourself all the way over onto your tummy so we can get a little bit of extension. So we're going to go into swan dive. Your feet or your legs are going to be slightly apart and your arms are going to be resting on the outside of your mat. Please remember to start off small. Focus on the technique. So as you exhale and you push down through the forearms, you draw up from the center, lengthen your body, float your head, float your breastbone. Just come to the bottom of your rib cage as you feel your shoulder blades sliding down your back. And then releasing it back down again on that next breath. So as you come forward, we're drawing up through from your center. You're always protecting that lumbar spine as you try to extend into your upper back. And again, release it back down. Please stick to that level if that's enough for you. Otherwise, we're going to start to make them a little bit bigger. So once you have got your initial extension, remember to squeeze tightly through your center. As you squeeze your bottom, press the legs away and lift and open right through the front of the body, right down into those hip flexors. Releasing it back down again on that next breath. So we're going to be pulling forward, floating the head, floating the breastbone, peeling up, squeezing your bottom, pressing those legs a little bit further away from you as you lift. And again, releasing it all the way back down on that next breath. Pulling forward, peeling, lifting, and again, releasing it all the way back down. We're just going to do that one last time. Lifting and extending, trying to get as much space between your breastbone and your toes as you can. And again, just release it all the way down. Once you've brought yourself down there, bring your hands under your shoulders. Come all the way up onto your floors. And we're going to go into our little cat stretch. So breathe in to prepare. And as you breathe out, drop the head, tuck under through the pelvis and push your spine all the way up to the ceiling. Really opening up through that back. Hold it there, breathe in. And as you breathe out, you bring it back to the center. And if that is enough for you, you stay there. Otherwise, you continue to lengthen and lift through your breastbone and you push your bottom to the ceiling. You hold it there to breathe in. And as you breathe out, again, you drop the head, you tuck under through the pelvis, and you press and open through that back. Hold it there, big breath in. And again, breathing out, either to the middle or continuing sliding the shoulder blades down and getting another little bit of extension. Hold it there to breathe in. And breathe out to return it back to the middle. Take those knees a little wider. Sink your bottom to the heels. And then once it gets there, walk those hands forward and try to bring your breastbone right the way down towards the mat. Nice big breath in and out. Lovely, and then just walk those hands in towards your knees. Swing yourself back round into a seated position. Take your hands behind you. Your knees are bent, your elbows are bent. And as you exhale, you slide the shoulder blades down your back, you draw in from your center, but you lift up from your breastbone. And you open right the way through the top of your shoulders and your chest. And then you release. You do that one more time. Dropping down and lifting up, opening up through the chest, across the top of those shoulders. And again, just release it back down. Lovely. Let's bring one hand on the floor, the other arm up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, you to lift up and over, and as you stretch right through the fingertips, make sure you're pushing right down into your hip. If your knees are also bent, you can push down with that knee as well. Bring it all the way back to the middle. Let's do that again on the other side. Lifting, and again, coming up and over. So remember, you can do this stretch with your legs straight out in front of you, or just with your knees bent in front of you. Let's do that one more time on each side. Lift and stretch. And bring it back down one more time. Lift and stretch. Good, and release the arms down, and all I want you to do is to breathe in, and as you breathe out, let's just turn the head and look over your shoulder. Drop the forehead to the shoulder, just sweep your forehead across the chest, bring it up on the other side, let's go back the other way, forehead to shoulder. Just sweep it across. Again, bring it up on the other side. Turn and face forward. Give your shoulders a little roll round.